Here are the top stories for today, August 6, 2019. The police and military look into reports of a supposed terror threat in northern Luzon. Tribal leaders welcome a plan to build a housing project for IP communities and former members of the CPP-NPA. President Duterte reminds government appointees to stop corruption and support reforms for the sake of the people. And the Department of Health ensures that the displaced Marawi residents are dengue-free.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The military is verifying reports that the Islamic State is targeting North Luzon. AFP spokesperson Edgar Arevalo confirmed a leaked memo regarding the ISIS threat of the Northern Luzon Command, or NOLCOM. The memo supposedly warns NOLCOM to raise the red alert on August 11 and 12 and tighten security around churches in Lawag, Digan, Manawag, in Pangasinan, and Tuguegarao City. But Arevalo says these memos are normally issued to intelligence units to investigate possible threats. He urged the public to stay calm and cooperate with the AFP in fighting terrorism. Meanwhile, the PNP is ready to raise the red alert in northern Luzon once the ISIS threat there is validated. For the meantime, PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde said they will increase police visibility in the suspected target areas as a deterrent. Amid the threat of ISIS in the country, President Rodrigo Duterte expressed worry of the damage that may be brought by Islamic terrorists. He said he prays for the country to be spared from terror attacks. Rom Dulfo has the story.
President Duterte admits he continues to pray to God to spare the Philippines from possible attacks by the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS. While he is not easily swayed by terrorists, the president said what he feared the most is seeing scores of innocent people killed, just like in Iraq and Syria.
Ang tinatakutan ko yung just like Iraq, Syria, na maraming inosenteng taong nadadali. Talagang ako'y nagdarasal. I'm praying. I really pray. Talagang lumuluhod ako sa Diyos na to spare us the kind of brutality and cruelty in our country, because it will really be bloody. Bloody as it can ever be.
Meanwhile, the president mentioned of sparks that would derail the transition period to the establishment of the Bangsamoro parliamentary government in 2022. The president was referring to the deal with Moro Islamic Liberation Front chair and now Bangsamoro Transition Authority interim chief minister Al-Haj Murat Ibrahim, which led to the creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. He expressed hope that Moro National Liberation Front founding chair Nur Miswari would accept the same agreement.
Meron tayong MNLF, that is the Sulu up to Tawi-Tawi area, Basilan. I am praying to God that Nur Miswari will be enlightened and he'll be able to accept maybe the same terms that we have extended to Murad.
Last June, the president feared that he was trying to set up another meeting with Miswari. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Meanwhile, the PNP is ready to train members of the Bureau of Fire Protection in using firearms in case President Duterte's proposal to give them guns pushes through. PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde said firefighters must have proper firearms training and that they should carry licensed weapons. He says he supports the president's suggestion to use firefighters as force multipliers, especially during national emergencies, and to give them added protection as they fulfill their duties. Tribal leaders on Monday expressed support to the plan to construct a housing project for indigenous peoples communities and former rebels. The National Housing Authority will download 60 million pesos to the provincial government of Davao del Norte. The project would cater to the residents of barangays Santo Niño, Dagohoy, and Palma Hill in Talaingod. Datu Awing Apuga said they are thankful for the government's help, especially as it would benefit tribal communities. He noted how development projects have not been able to penetrate into the countryside because communist insurgents are blocking them. Datu Nestor Apas, chief of Langilan Manobo tribe of Davao del Norte, said the project is crucial for tribe members who went back to the folds of law after they were deceived by the NPA. Apas, however, called on authorities to sit down with tribal chieftains and work hand in hand for IPs to be vigilant against corrupt activities. Negros Oriental is launching a task force to end insurgency in their province. And the Department of Education in Davao forms a fact-finding team to look into the case of suspended Salugpungan schools. More on this from Anthea Oarde.
The provincial government of Negros Oriental is gearing up for the official launching of the Provincial Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or PTF-LCAC, next week. Governor Roel Degamo says the launching is very timely because of the volatile situation in Negros Oriental following the spate of killings last month of 4 police intelligence officers, allegedly by the CPP-NPA, as well as the separate shooting incident that killed at least 21 people. In Davao City, a fact-finding committee has been created to investigate the Salugpungan Tatanu Igkanogon Community Learning Centers Incorporated, whose 55 schools have been suspended because of alleged links to the communist rebel movement. The committee's evaluation is said to be the key into the final decision whether to lift the suspension order or to finally revoke its permit to operate. And in Cotabato City, 3 persons were killed while 2 others were hurt in a mid-afternoon ambush in Piquet on Monday. Police says the ambush occurred around 3:30 p.m. in Sitio Dingaya, Barangay Bulol, and was triggered by Rido, or family feud involving Muslim clans. The fatalities are all residents of Barangay Rahamuda and members of a local MILF faction. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Anthea Oarde.
President Duterte is set to invoke in China the arbitral ruling in favor of the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea issue. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said today the president is visiting China this August to resolve various issues between the two countries. The president earlier said the Philippines will invoke the arbitral ruling at the right time. Panelo said the president is expected to have a one-on-one meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He added that Duterte wants to resolve China's sharing deal proposal in the joint oil exploration of the West Philippine Sea. Still to come, the cabinet proposes a 4.1 trillion peso national budget for 2020. President Duterte reminds government appointees to stop corruption and support reforms for the sake of the people. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
As 2019 marks the ASEAN-China Year of Media Exchanges, we look forward not only to stronger regional media cooperation, but also to a deeper level of trust and understanding. The ASEAN-China partnership has been mutually beneficial as both sides learn from each other's experiences and best practices. May we all have a fruitful discussion today as we all work together in strengthening our cooperation efforts for a better and interconnected future in this digital age.
The reality of public discussion is an open field of media. While press freedom is considered as the litmus test of diplomatic and democratic threats. Checks and balances are no longer reliable, as there may no longer be barriers for the entrance and exit of information into the private or public worlds of individuals and institutions. Everything is subject to information dissemination. What, therefore, are we talking about insofar as press freedom is concerned? The liberating force that brought about the avalanche of journalistic freedoms was originally and still is the search for the truth. We begin with the position of the individual as the architect of press freedom. The composer of the story primarily determines whether or not a report is free. Free from manipulation, free from harmful interests, free from the abuse of power and greed. Logic and ethics are instruments to dissect corrupt practices and weed out any semblance of fabrication and fake reporting.
Senator Francis Tolentino is calling for the immediate creation of a new housing department, and a full-blown investigation is underway for the killing of Partido ng Manggagawa key leader. More on this from Gigi Arcilia Agtay.
Senator Francis Tolentino, chair of the Senate Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement Committee, urged the government to fast-track the formation of the new Department of Human Settlement and Urban Development, or DHSUD. He said the new housing department will ensure that the policies they will craft are good and humane in order to meet the needs of the Filipino people. Tolentino made a call on Monday as he led the organizational meeting of key shelter agencies to discuss policies and strategies that will help address current housing issues, particularly the huge housing backlogs in the country. Meanwhile, the National Irrigation Administration and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources on Monday signed a memorandum of agreement for the effective management and development of the 143 watersheds supporting the national irrigation systems in the Philippines. The agreement is set to establish and delineate the respective responsibilities of the DENR and NEA over watersheds and reservations in the country. In other news, the Department of Justice has ordered a full-blown investigation on the killing of Dennis Sikena. A special investigating team was formed to investigate and lead a case build-up in the killing of Sikena, who was shot dead in Barangay Bunga, Tanza, Cavite on June 2, 2019 by a riding in tandem gunman while he was meeting with a group of workers. Sikena is the vice chairperson of the Partido ng Manggagawa Cavite chapter. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Gigi Arcilia Agtay.
The Duterte cabinet has agreed to submit to Congress a proposed national budget of 4.1 trillion pesos for the year 2020. President Duterte approved on Monday night the budget, which is higher than this year's budget of 3.757 trillion pesos. The Department of Education, or DepEd, is expected to receive the biggest portion of the budget, followed by the Department of Public Works and Highways, the Department of Transportation, and the Health Department. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the national budget was designed to respond to the needs of the majority of Filipinos. It also aims to raise the living standards of Filipinos and help achieve peace and progress. President Duterte on Monday reminded new government appointees that they have his full support as long as they do not engage in corrupt practices. Duterte officiated the oath-taking of about 100 newly appointed officials in Malacanang. In a speech, the president mentioned how Filipinos have suffered from corruption and red tape, and it was their job to regain the people's trust.
Our people have long suffered from the scourge of corruption and red tape in the bureaucracy. As you assume respective offices, I expect you to help me in the task of regaining our people's trust in government by pursuing necessary bureaucratic reforms that will enable us to address the needs to those we serve. Know that you'll always have my complete support as long as you resist any temptation that will taint your character and reputation as public servants.
Duterte urged the new appointees to help institute reforms so that the government may effectively stamp out criminality, illegal drugs, terrorism, and the country's other ills. He challenged them to help him steer the course towards lasting peace and greater development. The president also reminded them of their responsibilities to uphold integrity, accountability, and transparency. He warned them that they will be dealt with severely if they are involved in any form of corruption. And in other news, people filing complaints at the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission will soon be able to raise their concerns personally to Commissioner Greco Belhica. Belhica says he will set aside Mondays from 10 a.m. as a People's Day to personally look into complaints of corruption against officials. He vowed to make sure that issues personally filed before him will be looked into immediately. President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday defended again his decision to suspend some gaming activities under the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, or PCSO. The president noted that was the only way to stop massive corruption within the charity agency. Last week, Duterte lifted the suspension order on PCSO's lotto operations but kept the suspension on small-town lottery, kino, and peryahan ng bayan. Earlier, Duterte said he will soon be naming around 10 PCSO officials involved in a multi-billion peso corruption scandal. PCSO General Manager Royina Garma has also bared her concerns on alleged anomalies in the agency's STL operations. The country's inflation further cooled to 2.4% in July due to slower price increases of food and electricity. The Philippine Statistics Authority said prices of basic goods rose softer than June's 2.7% climb and July's 2018's 5.7%. This is the slowest pace since December 2016. The PSA said price movements for food and non-alcoholic beverages slowed down from 2.7% to 1.9% in July. Slower upticks were also recorded for housing and utility costs, home furnishings, health, transport, and liquor and tobacco. Analysts meanwhile expect the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to trim interest rates following the series of tightening moves done in 2018 to temper surging prices. Internet provider CONVERGE ICT Solutions announced on Monday that it will install fiber optic technology at no cost to consumers. CONVERGE President Dennis Uy said the service will be offered initially to Pampanga to empower the province's homes and businesses. He said the switch from cable to fiber optic will be free of charge to its subscribers. He said fiber optic technology provides faster internet surfing speed as well as higher quality TV services. CONVERGE ICT has more than 200,000 subscribers alone in Central Luzon. Uy said CONVERGE will soon deploy mobile stores in Luzon to bring its services closer to subscribers. Up next, Bacolod City's MASKARA Festival dancers impressed the crowds of Disneyland Park. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Magandang umaga po. Kumusta po kayo? Marami pong programa ang DSWD para po sa ating mga nakakatandang mga nanay at tatay. Pasensya na po kayo sa init ng lugar na to. Ang mahalaga dito ay maayos ang pagbibigay para po madali po tayo makatapos. So, maganda talaga na kayo mismo ang makaka-receive at may pasyan nyo ng inyong mga apo.
Talagang maganda itong programa.
Oo, napakaganda po at malaking tulong sa aming mga senior.
Ano po masasabi niyo sa programa ni Presidente, itong social pension para sa mga katulad ng mga senior citizen?
Napakalaking tulong po sa amin, mga senior, kagaya ko, dahil ano nilang aming pambili ng gamot, pagkain. Maraming salamat po sa social pension program.
DSWD, katuwang ng mga kapuspala.
MASKARA Festival dancers are going international. Meanwhile, Cagayan de Oro and Davao launched their respective festivals. Rom Dulfo tells us more.
Bacolod City boasts of its MASKARA Festival dancers who have conquered the happiest place on earth, where else but in Disneyland Park in Anaheim, California. The MASKARA team was the first Filipino group to perform in the Disneyland Performing Arts at the California Adventureland on Friday evening. Aside from the Disneyland, the dance team also performed at the San Francisco Filipino Cultural Center in San Francisco, California, the MASKARA Festival in Long Beach at the Marriott Hotel, and at the Trade, Travel and Consumer Expo in South Bay Pavilion of Carson City. They also performed at the MASKARA Festival in Long Beach. Meanwhile, Cagayan de Oro City has formally launched the month-long celebration of Higalaay Festival on Sunday. Higalaay, which means friendship, is an annual celebration that coincides with the city's religious fiesta in honor of Catholic patron Saint Augustine. The festival's highlights include Kumbira, a food exhibition, Kahimunan, a showcase of local handicrafts, search for Miss Cagayan de Oro, and Higalaay Dragon Boat Race. And in Davao City, its very own Tagum City Youth Festival is launched with the theme Power, Purpose, Impact. The festivities are said to be connected to the International Youth Day celebration. As part of the celebration, the city's youth group conducted a medical mission for hundreds of indigenous peoples late last week. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Some 3,000 elementary students in Malimono Town, Surigao del Norte received gifts of pencils and paper from Nickel Asia Corporation. NAC employees and subsidiaries pooled together personal resources to give the students from the town's 16 schools in an activity last July. Kindergarten kids also received coloring books, crayons, and sharpeners. Last year, NAC employees contributed to give pads of papers and pencils to 900 elementary students of all the 4 elementary schools in Dinapigue Town, Isabela. DepEd District Supervisor Alicia Amalia thanked NAC for venturing into Malimono schools and gifting the students. Malimono is a fifth-class coastal municipality outside Surigao del Norte's mining community. The Department of Health has assured the safety of displaced residents of Marawi City from dengue. This even as measures are being taken in light of the dengue outbreak in other parts of the country. Sweet Lukman has the story.
As dengue cases in the country are reportedly increasing these days, the Department of Health 10 Satellite Operations Center based at Amaypakpak Medical Center, Marawi City, has adopted measures to ensure no dengue outbreak will happen in the transitional sites and in the remaining evacuation centers in Marawi City. Dr. Stephanie Grace Zamora, head of the DOH-10 Marawi OPSEN, said their team is providing IDPs with ongoing dengue surveillance. They are reminding the IDPs through house-to-house visitation and orient them on possible mosquito breeding sites. Zamora explained the signs and symptoms of the disease are severe headaches, pain behind the eyes, severe joint and muscle pain, fatigue, nausea, vomiting, and skin rashes. The lady physician added the most effective way to prevent dengue is to keep in mind the 4S strategy: search and destroy mosquito breeding places, self-protective measures like wearing long sleeves and use of insect repellent, seek early consultation on the first signs and symptoms of the disease, and say yes to fogging if there is an impending outbreak. The DOH as well as the City Health Office of Marawi also continues to monitor the health of the IDPs. For PNA Newsroom, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
The Philippine Consulate General in Hong Kong is monitoring the situation of Filipinos amid the intensified anti-government protests. This as consulate officials assisted a Filipino who was arrested on suspicion of participating in the rally. The consulate warns Filipinos not to wear black and white, the supposed colors of the protesters, as part of precautionary measures. In our 4 news, 9 people have been confirmed killed after a mass shooting in Ohio, USA last Sunday. The suspect, identified as Connor Betts, a 24-year-old male, opened fire in a popular bar district in the city of Dayton. The suspect shot dead 9, including his own sister, and injured 27 others before being killed by the police. Dayton police said the motive of the shooting is still under investigation. The incident happened 13 hours after the mass shooting in El Paso, Texas on Saturday, where 22 were killed. The spate of killings over the weekend has left at least 31 dead and over 50 others injured. Monsoon rains enhanced by Tropical Storm Hannah helped increase the water elevation in Angat and Bustos dams. Latest monitoring by Pag-asa showed that the water elevation of Angat Dam as of Tuesday morning was at 169.26 meters, showing a nearly 1 meter increase from Monday morning's level. The current water level is above the dam's critical level, but still about 11 meters below its minimum operating level. Meanwhile, the water level at Bustos Dam, which catches water released by Angat Dam for irrigation, was above the overflow level of 17.52 meters as of this morning. Let's now check out the weather outlook for the rest of the country. And here's another look at today's biggest stories.
The police and military look into reports of a supposed terror threat in northern Luzon. Tribal leaders welcome a plan to build a housing project for IP communities and former members of the CPP-NPA. President Duterte reminds government appointees to stop corruption and support reforms for the sake of the people. And the Department of Health ensures that the displaced Marawi residents are dengue-free.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.